So here we are for our first talk with our first guest, Caterina Galea, Maltese living in Cyprus. And I know she has a lot of resources, and she shared with me also before moving to Cyprus. I remember the first course I took on personal development was like extremely helpful, especially in that like period of my life. And just what I wanted to ask you at the beginning, if you can tell us like your story, how and why did you ended up in Cyprus, and how is life in Cyprus?
Hi everyone. Thank you, Viviana, for inviting me on this first talk. A wonderful idea, I think, because when we can share what is going on with us and we can share what we're doing to feel better, I think it's really great at the moment, because we're here to help each other. I think this is the moment we really need to support each other. So really thank you for inviting me, and I'm pleased to be here. So I'm Catherine. I am originally from Malta. I'm Maltese, and I've lived in Malta for most of my life, or except a short period when I lived in London. And last September, so this pretty like, you know, not even a year ago, it's 6 months, and I've moved with my family to Cyprus, the area of Paphos. It was rather a quick decision to move, and it felt rather a safe one, because Cyprus is very close to Malta. We're islands, so there's a similar culture. Both countries speak English, so when you speak the same language, you know, you can communicate the same language, it feels easier. We drive on the same side as well. Yes. Yeah, because it's been Cyprus, like Malta, has been an English colony, so you know we have the same things as the British in a way. The reason we moved to Cyprus is that we wanted to have more space. Malta, as you know, is a small country. We wanted more nature space, more open spaces, less traffic. Because that's one of the downfalls, I think, of Malta, because I love Malta, it's still in my heart, and I want to be there every now and then. But we wanted more sort of the freedom of space and not being stuck in traffic, and a more nature, laid back life, I would say. And it's great because we have a 4-year-old daughter. And I think it's brilliant. It's a brilliant place for kids to be as well. It's a safe country. It is a safe country. So these were the considerations we've taken when we moved here. And my work is as an empowerment coach, life coach, and healer, and mindfulness teacher. So I can do my work anywhere. Obviously, I'm in the beginning of my journey here. So I'm still finding myself as to regards being out there and doing the work in Cyprus. And my vision is to go global. So I am in that process. And suddenly, this came all around. So it's been quite, you know, an interesting journey so far. You know, like we've moved to our permanent home in January. Yes. So, you know, so January settling down. It's like I'm settled down, now I'm ready to start, and suddenly we stop because of this.
And how was it the beginning? There was like any struggles, something that you didn't expect about Cyprus, something related to the
No. I mean, Cyprus, I feel at home, and like it's just really easy in that respect. I felt at home. Obviously, people are very welcoming. The Cypriots are really welcoming. You know, even the lawyer who helped us with the purchase of the house was really friendly. He has young children. He invited us to his family's home. So they're welcoming. You feel embraced, and that makes it much easier. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there are a lot of British in the area we live. So there is an expat community. Our daughter's been settled in a school quickly. So no, I really feel at home, and I enjoy the exploring, you know, going to the mountains, because we do have mountains and snow here. So that's lovely. And I enjoy being by the sea. I'm making new friends, and really beautiful friends. So I did not find that difficult. I actually easier than I thought it would be. It's like I've lived here before somehow.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. I think I can share partially also the feeling, because for me it was also the same for Malta, and I was surprised because I didn't expect it, like to feel like this. And this is also the idea, because I call also the talk Far From Home, but home for an expat, for a migrant, can be also complicated to define, because sometimes you find yourself at home more in a country that was not your country of origin, or sometimes you feel that you have more than one home, and so you're kind of shared between the two or more homes that you have, or that you feel.
Yes, I feel lucky, because obviously Malta will always be my home, and there's no, but this feels like it's home, and it is home for me, and it just I just don't have any regrets that we've done this move. Really, I don't have any regrets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great, because I know not everyone shares the same story. In fact, when I lived in London, after a year, I wanted to return back to Malta. And I knew it pretty early on in the move, because it's very different, and it's not, I loved London, but it's like a love-hate relationship, It's different when you live there and then just you visit as a tourist. So I know the feeling also of you love the place where you are. There's so much to offer you, but you just that feeling that it is not home for you. Mm-hmm. So I know the difference.
Yes.
And it's not nice to have that feeling, because home is a really important part of us, really a big important chunk of us. And that if that doesn't feel right, it's going to feel a lot of discomfort and some emptiness within us.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's totally true. Also, and especially maybe in this time, this complicated time, if you also don't feel at home in the place where you live, it can be even more complicated. And also the decision, I think many of us had faced this decision. I'm going to stay in my new country. I'm going to go back to my country of origin to stay like close to my family, or because the health system is better, or because I want to speak my language if I will have any problem. I think that this like feeling at home can also have a big part in the decision of where also to stay during this time that like it has.
Exactly. In fact, that was never a question for us. I mean, we knew here that was home, and we wanted to stay here. We have actually our own properties, so we didn't have issues of locations. In Malta, actually, we don't have much family, the reality, which is a bit sad in a way. And we don't have much family. Our parents all passed away. Actually, father-in-law has passed away last month in February. So that was the last visit to Malta. So in a way, it happened just before this started, which in a way was better, because it could have been a huge problem, because he was in a nursing home. So we don't have an immediate family. My brother lives in the UK. My partner sister lives in the UK as well, and so immediate family is not in Malta. So there was not that question or doubt where should I be. So that was quite easy to decide to stay here and continue life, because obviously if you move temporary to your original country, that's also going to cause also a bigger disruption in the routine, a bigger disruption in your structure and in how you operate. It brings more uncertainty. Yes. So we kept to here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think the other key words in this time, and again, sometimes for the expert can be like heavier to support, to take, is the uncertainty. So there is this big question when we will be able to go back, when we will be able to see our family again. Is of course kind of the same, because we are all in lockdown. So also the Maltese, they cannot actually see maybe or meet or hug their relatives and friends. But of course we have this, let's say, there is something more. It's like in my case, we mentioned before, we don't know where the airport in Malta will be like reopened. So I really don't know when I will be able to like fly anywhere or in Italy. But uncertainty is also, let's say, one word that all of us we have to deal with.
Yes, yes. And I mean, I think every single human being is going through uncertainty that we've never gone in our lifetime, unless we are 90-year-olds and we've been to the war and, you know, the other pandemic in 1918. So life is uncertain anyway, but we try to create some sort of stability and control. That's how we are human. We thrive on having like routines, control. But suddenly all that has been taken away from us, and we're living in a world of uncertainty. And I mean, in reality, life is uncertain. You know, it's like we try to make it as certain as possible, but this has really put it out in our face, like uncertainty as never felt before. You know, like even plans. I mean, I was like chatting with a friend online, like God knows how many weddings, and especially Malta weddings, are planned 2 years, 3 years before, had to be postponed, cancelled. I don't know what happened with them, but I'm sure something had to happen. And all the excitement, you know, and in the last month, suddenly, all the excitement, the preparations, and, you know, suddenly we have to, oh my gosh, that's you know, all the certainty that you've been prepared for suddenly is taken away from you, and many other things, you know. But a wedding is a very like emotional and intimate and something very special, more than a conference, I think.
Yes.
So it's going to, I mean, crush, you know, in a way. If if you don't have a strong foundation, it's going to really crush us. So you know, my heart goes out to these people who had to cancel very important stuff and things that they have been preparing for long times.
Yeah, and what you mentioned about the foundations and resources, it is extremely important. I have seen like friends that they have decided they had to postpone the wedding or cancel, but they decided we go live together, and at least we did something. Then we will do our wedding, but these are our resources. At least we are together. We move into our new home together, and we start. It is our start. It's not the official as it was planned, but it's like the best we can do in this time.
In a way, we're mentioning weddings, we're focusing on what is really important. You know, because really important, the wedding, the celebration is just the outside of it. It's what we're giving out, but in reality it's not about the big party or whatever it is, but it's about the couple getting together and starting a new life together, and that still can happen.
Yes.
So it's really focusing on what is important. And I think I have been saying, even on social media, I mean, because of my work, you know, I'm all about that. It's like I need to focus on what is really important in my life, and in a way it gives us the opportunity to revalue what is really important in our life. What should we strive for? What do we really want in our life?
Yes, that's so true. And I know that you have a lot of resources because of your work, because of your experience, and so I would like to like jump on the resource, and then maybe also when we speak about the resources, that we will of course also tackle again the struggle or the challenges of this time. But I know that you have a lot to give us about like resources, and maybe resources now that you are abroad, that you are maybe discover about yourself in this new situation.
Yes, I have been, I have been practicing for the last 10, 12 years yoga, meditation, and self-development, personal growth, and spiritual growth. So for me, this is the time where I really need to put in practice what I've learned in the last 10 years and what I try to teach to others and help others with. And in a way, for me, it has really changed, because I had a practice every morning. I call it my morning ritual, and I still do that every day. And now I'm focused on the situation I am in. So for example, not just I focus on myself, but something that I really feel strong and it helps me. It's like I feel that I'm like doing something for the world at the moment. is I feel that I need to pray for humanity and for the world, and I do that. You know, so this is how I adapted my usual spiritual practice to praying more for humanity, for the world, and for the healing, and to find a way through this, and for each and everyone to us to be strong, because there is the strength within us. We've never had, we don't know the strength that we have until we are tested.
Yes.
And many of us, unfortunately, because we are so busy, we don't even think that we have all those resources within us. But we are strong enough only if we take the time to find the strength.
Yes.
And to ask questions, you know, what is really important in my life? And these are questions I have been asking. But what is really important in my life? What do I really want in my life? It's like I'm going on a journey of purpose, connecting to my purpose, like something I've been doing, but now it's coming on a deeper level for me.
Yes, that's true.
And yes, I'm for people who are feeling like, how can I make my life better at the moment? I really suggest that they start with meditation, few minutes a day. Mindfulness meditation is a great way to start, even visualizations. Yoga, it's also a great way to start. And there are plenty of resources online, to start with something to help you focus more within yourself. Read books regarding personal growth. Even if you don't have them, you can download them easily, So things are available to us, and do simple things that give you joy. That is really important. Things that give you joy, that give you happiness. For example, I have a garden here. It's something that today I haven't been much in the garden, but I just enjoy going in the garden, smelling the flowers, observing now because it's spring. You know, you can really see the different flowers blooming. I do that, I enjoy making, I have the sage in the garden, pick up the sage and make tea. So it's really the simple things, that we don't take the time to observe usually because we're busy outside. But now I have no choice but to be more connected to the garden, and it really gives me pleasure. So I'm discovering something new about myself. And sometimes I think, maybe I can do something with the garden. Maybe I can, I've got the idea of making sage bundles. I've done it, but now it's like I should do more of these things. Yeah. With my daughter, we've created flower mandalas.
Wow. Yeah, it's also like the creativity that is like.
Yes, and today, for example, she picked up some flowers, some leaves, and then we didn't have the right paint, so it didn't come so good. But with the watercolors, we've painted and we've put the flowers, and then we created the pattern. So we're just exploring with what nature is giving us. So it's really, this is an opportunity to become more creative. And creativity, if we connect to our own creativity, it makes us happy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's really true. Also, what you mentioned, and I think this is also part of like being abroad and choose, and for us having choose where to stay in this period is also maybe about the routine. If you are in your place, you have your routine, you have your things, you can do your things. I was also thinking, I would love to be with my parents, but probably I don't know if I would have been like okay in their house, because I wouldn't have all my space, and I'm still working, and I'm still like doing webinar online, and so having my space and my routine is helping me to stay focused, to stay healthy. And also another point that you mentioned, and is also I discussed this also with my clients, so with managers, but it can be really for everyone, is try to find a meaning in our life now and in what we are doing. And a meaning sometimes is like doing something for the others because we feel useless, because we see the doctors, the nurses, and everyone, let's say, at the front line, and we are, stay at home. Yeah, we do our part staying at home, or we are forced to stay at home. But what we can do that has like a meaning, like meaningful, and can, like, we can feel proud of. Maybe now I was thinking also what we mentioned before, because in Cyprus is a different lockdown, you told me, than Malta and other country. And we started with, briefly before, we spoke about like this new idea also of freedom. What is freedom? We are also like reflecting a lot. What is freedom? They are taking freedom from us, or actually they are protecting us? And maybe you want to share also your experience.
That was really interesting for me, because when they announced the strict lockdown, I got really angry. I got angry, and I said, but this is not right. I mean, what is this about? You can't even go to a beach that is deserted. There's no one. What harm is going to be in that? Or going to the forest. There's hardly anyone. What is the harm of doing that? It's not like you see packs of families in the forest, and even in the normal of day, it's like we enjoy going out to these remote places in normal days. Let's call them normal days, because you don't see many people there, so I said, what's the point? So I got angry because that's taken away from me, and it's not just it's taken away from me, but it's also because I can't choose. I don't mind staying at home because I like the space. I have the garden, as I said. It's just the ability not being able to decide myself what to do, and having the government, the authorities, whatever, telling me you cannot do. And to go shopping, I have to send a text and get permission. It's like, yes, you can go shopping. And for me, it's like, they're telling me what to do. No one tells me what to do. I do. And so that's part of my personality coming out, the personality that loves freedom. And freedom is actually one of my top values. Mm-hmm. So here we're talking about values, and someone is messing about with my values. Someone, in my eyes, the way I see it, It's not, it doesn't happen logically. It's a process. So someone is messing around with my values. And values are sacred. In a way, our top values are sacred. They shape who we are, how we operate. So it's like freedom. Wow, my value of freedom is like messed around by the new rules. And of course, the intention is to protect us. But I saw beyond that protection. It's my right to be free to express myself. I mean, for now, we can still express ourselves on the internet, but if, God forbid, something happens and we cannot do that, for some reason, I'm not allowed to express myself, my views, even if no one agrees with them, that is something really harsh to me, and I would really suffer. So these are obviously like struggles that are not really obvious, like, not really obvious, like, you can't meet your family. They're different from that. And you can't go to work, that it's more about who I am.
Yes. Yeah, I think all of this is also like it's bring up also our fears, and is a journey also of discover ourselves, our values, what are our values, our sacred values, but also our fears.
Yes. In fact, my fear. In fact, I don't have so much fear of the coronavirus. I don't have, because of course I keep my immune system healthy. I try to eat healthy, a positive mind, focusing on the positive, what brings us joy, and so I don't have much of that fear. But in the beginning, when things started going about haywire, I got suddenly a huge fear. It's like out of panic, that my daughter will get sick. And I didn't have any reason to do that, because, she's with me, she's not going to school, she's protected, but it just was overblown. So that brought a fear. Mm-hmm. It's a fear. And I realized that it's not fear about her, really. There's something else going on that I have to figure out. Obviously, I could do that. I have the awareness. I'm very self-aware, of course, because I work with clients, and I've been working with myself. So that took me on a journey. So I woke up in the morning, sat on my yoga mat, I started meditating, and I started tapping. Tapping is emotional freedom technique, which is a self-help tool. Mostly you can use it on your own, but sometimes you need a professional trained person to help you with it. And I started tapping along this fear, and then I discovered fears and actually a grieving from the past. And it turned into a fear of losing my daughter. So I had to work with it. So this was something already there, the fear, but I never had to deal with it.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's a great time. Of course, it's challenging, but it's also a great time for self-awareness, self-reflection.
Yes, yes. So the message I'd like to give out there is that there are going to be fears. Some are very obvious fears. That's the anxiety of we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Financial, because this is a lot of financial implications. Jobs, losing your job or your business. Obviously, getting sick with the virus. The family getting sick, not being able to move. There are the obvious fears. Let's call them obvious, and they bring the basic fears, like instinctive fears, primordial fears that we all go through, and we never had to go through. Now we have to go through them. Most of us don't have to go through because we have good jobs, we have a home, we do have our food, so we're close to the family. Even expats, we can easily travel to see them, but suddenly we're faced with that. But so those are the basic fears. But what we have to watch out is that other fears that are triggering the basic fears, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And those can create more than anxiety, because it's actually we actually trying to block ourselves from dealing with it. So it's going to create a lot of conflict within us.
Exactly.
So what I say is just, if you need help, seek help. Don't keep it to yourself, because if you do, it's going to cause mental health issues.
Exactly. I think the idea of this talk, and also because Katrin and I were supposed to be in the same conference in May about mental well-being, but we will not be in that conference because the conference was cancelled. And the topic I would have covered there would have been like mental wellness and expat, because sometimes when you live abroad, and it's for everyone, but now we're speaking about like expat or people living abroad, is like, go and seek for help, because you're not the only one probably also that have some feelings, that are like living with some feelings, struggling with something. But seek for help, or seek for someone that maybe has already experienced what you are going through, and that can help you. And this is the idea of also all these talks. We're all going through the same at different level, and sharing is already part of the process, I would say, of healing, because when you share, like you put your vulnerability out there, and there is someone else that then can take care of it, maybe. So if you share, I think it's also part of the healing process.
Yes. It is important to share what we're feeling. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel you're going to be judged. We're all in the same boat. We're all, at the moment, we are all in the same boat. Some are maybe a bit ahead of your journey, but we are on in the same sea, on the boat, navigating through a rough season. So what we need is to really help each other, and no one can judge what we're feeling. There's no shame. If everyone around you is feeling positive, but you're the only one feeling really down, it's okay, because you have your own past, your own experiences you've been carrying you, and obviously that's going to affect you. Today I had I had to cry this morning. So I am, as Viviana knows me a little bit, she knows I'm positive. I'm always trying to help. I'm all these like personal development, so though I'm positive, today I felt sad and I felt frustrated, actually frustration, that I know that for at least another 5 weeks I'm in strict lockdown. And I know that, so 24 hours at home, you know, with my daughter 24 hours, I love her to bits and I can't imagine my life without her, but it's not easy. It's not easy to be 24 hours, you know, no school and you know, 4-year energetic that, you know, she doesn't leave you, that you think. So, and I have really these nice ideas, vision. I want really to take my work out there. And so, you know, I felt really frustrated and it's just like, what am I going to do? I don't know. And I just have to cry it out.
Yeah.
Of course, I haven't tapped yet, but I know that I need to do that and use EFT on it. It's not just to give me a solution with EFT, but it's just to calm me down and bring me back to center. So there are moments that we're going to cry, no matter how strong we are, no matter how positive we are, even though we know this is temporary, but the temporary seems a long time. And yes, allow yourself to feel it, allow yourself to cry. There is no shame, there's nothing wrong in it.
Exactly.
And if you can call a friend and share it, you know, do it. Or if you want to seek professional help, do it. I think that's an important message to get out there, because one day I'm going to feel okay and the other, or morning okay and evening not, or you know, so it's going to be an up and down of emotions, and it's perfectly fine.
Yes, thank you very much, Catherine. The idea was to have, as I mentioned, the Italian merenda, so to have like afternoon break and to close, and for you can be like a message to the world or a message to your country. As I told you, can be in Maltese, in English, in the language of your art. But if you want to say like something, a positive message or just a message, like an inspirational message.
Okay. So, shall we go for Maltese? Let's say something Maltese. So, you know, I find it difficult to speak in Maltese online. It's strange. Maltese is my native language, but I do because I'm so used to doing online stuff with English. So, Lodwa Tajba, Lodwa Tajba, grazzi ħafna tal-li qed tisimgħuni. Il-messaġġ tiegħi huwa huwa żminijiet diffiċli. Żminijiet x'kultant laqas nafu x'aħna nħossu u x'kultant ma nafux se naqbdu nagħmlu, forsi x'kultant inħossuna frustrati, momenti ta' disperazzjoni. Huwa normali, tiġġudikax lilek innifsek, imma ħalli lilek innifsek tħoss dak li qed tħoss. Però kun naf ukoll li madwejja tista' jkollok ukoll kuntentizza, tista' tkun kuntent. Allura għamel affarijiet li jagħmluk kuntenti, pożittivi. Da kulunkwa ħaġa li tagħmlek pożittiv. Dak huwa l-messaġġ tiegħi. Thank you.
No, I ask you to do it in the language that you want, Maltese or English, but language is also something that for an expat sometimes can be challenging, not because you don't speak the language so well, maybe you speak the language so well, the language of the other country, but still it's not maybe the language you use to share your emotion, is not your language of your heart. And so in that case, it also brings something about the discover of yourself. It's also the discover of like the language you are using, the way you communicate, and what is the way you show emotions, and what are the language of your emotions.
Yes. Yeah. Emotions have, you know, different type of languages, I guess. It's a strange time, but obviously we just have to support each other and know that this will be over, and it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to feel sad and happy. We welcome everything that comes along at the moment.
Yes. Thank you very much, Catherine.
Thank you, Viviana. Grazie tanta.
Grazie.
And thank you so much for inviting me, and well done. You're doing a great job. It was nice chatting with you.
Thank you also for me, and take care.
You too. Kalispera.
Kalispera.
Yes, good evening.